Hey, everybody. This is Jeff Kennedy with the Charlotte Cartel and my partner, Corey, with the War Pigs. Corey's team won and my team lost. I think no surprise there, mostly because the Colts suck and the Saints suck and everybody that I drafted sucks. George Kittle sucks. Brett Maher sucks. I suck. So let's start off at the top. I don't have much to add. Corey, tell us about how awesome the Superstar division is.
Oh man, I mean, just so awesome. Yeah, we got two bona fide, amazing, ready to go playoff teams with the War Pigs and the Bad Company. War Pigs 10-3 right now. Bad Company a lock to make the playoffs at 8-5, even with a loss. Blues and Barbarians are out. Blues screwing up his draft position by winning his second game in a row. Sucks for him. Lead Dogs in the AAD win the division, which he already did. 10-3. Motor City Kings lose their second in a row. Huge loss right there. We'll talk about that in a bit. Fall to 6-7. Bullies with a huge win go to 6-7. And the aforementioned very sad Charlotte Cartel lose and go to 5-8. Power Pack division, Untouchables had already won the division, but clear winner there, up by 3 games with 1 left at 10-3. Hazards lose second in a row, go to 7-6, fully on the danger zone now. Commandos somehow in the race, I think, at 6-7. And the Pitbulls doing the opposite of Nandu and losing his second in a row to go in 4-9. So some interesting outcomes from this past week, probably most of which I didn't go back and look. I feel like we got a lot of these wrong, or at least a lot of them were certainly a lot closer than we thought they would be. Right?
I stopped paying attention to the football
I know.
1:45 p.m. Eastern time. Yes, much closer to that. Yes, they're the barn burner.
Well, you wanted to quickly do the scores from last week. We don't need to go.
I would love to. That would really.
I know you want to.
I have a little rant I want to go on to when we get in a second.
Let's see if I can make this work without being too close, but it's not going to work like I want it to. Whatever.
Okay, well, just now I have a seizure. War Pigs beat the Bad Company. It's closer than we thought it would be. I mean, Burrow played really well. Tyreek did Tyreek things. Watson continues his run of scoring. I think he's got 4 scores in 4 games, something like that, some number.
8 scores in 4 games.
8 scores in 4 games, even better. Yeah, so that's Corey with his magical powers of finding garbage in the Goodwill bin. And right. Eckler had a quiet day, but still enough to beat I think it's Bad Company. Is that who you played? Commando?
Yeah,
Bad Company. Hurts, I think Hurts had a pretty good game. Go over a little more. Yeah, he had a good game. Everyone had a good game, actually, except for Waddle, who got hurt. And that was the difference. If Waddle had stayed in the whole game, probably would have won. Waddle didn't, so he didn't. And no huge surprise. I don't know that changes who's in the playoffs at all. So
no, it mattered for the division, because this could have put the division in the grasp of Bad Company, depending on the last game. That was the only thing that was possible. We could have been tied at that point. So yeah.
Go to the bench real quick.
The what? The bench? Oh.
Just want to see real quick who they could have played. I mean, Cup out. Judy, I'm sure he didn't start. Rashad White looks good. Mixon was concussed. So yeah, I mean, if Mixon plays, he probably wins that game too. It's one of those things. If Breece Hall didn't get injured, he probably wins. If my grandma had balls, she'd be my grandpa. Like, we can keep that all day. But bottom line is, he played the team he has, and the War Pigs came out on top.
Yeah, this is no offense again, guys. Barbarians lose to the Blues. We don't need to talk about it. And the span of time there, like I said earlier, Blues winning is just making his draft pick worse. So that could be interesting and have effect later down the road. Lead dogs in the cartel. I'm sure you really want to talk about this one, especially.
I do actually. I want to talk about how Lamar Jackson got 1.34 points and still beat me.
Yeah.
Talk about that for a second. We talk about how St. Brown got 30 points and Jacobs got 21. And at the end, he didn't score over 100 points, I don't think, or right at it. And I should have won. But then go over to my guys real quick. Just focus on for a second. Kamara's 4.7. Murray, I don't know who I could have played instead of him. I don't have the ingredients this year. Now I'm not gonna play Nico Collins over him. So like at the end of the day, I played the players that I have, and it wasn't enough. Hopefully the Saints can get their shit figured out and the Colts can get their shit figured out. We can get some new quarterbacks in there and open things up, because it's been an absolutely lost season. And while we're on the topic of Jeff Kennedy and the cartel, I like to position myself as an expert in fantasy football. I've only won one championship, but I don't have an overabundance of confidence. So I went back to look at my my draft, because there's a bunch of parts to fantasy football. It's who do you keep, who do you draft, what trades do you make, what your free agents are, and then who you play on any given week. And if you do well in all of those, you'll usually do really well in football. So just humor me for a second. My draft picks, people that I chose on purpose, and I'm going to blame Bruni, because we were eating gummies. We were there. We had Mexican food, and I was hungry, and we ate there was a lot of things going on. There was chips, and my hands had dust on them. I couldn't focus like I do when I'm at home. I picked George Kittle as my first pick. He's a nice guy. He's a likable tight end, right? He has not had a good season, period. Hardcore stop, right? Traylon Burks, my second choice. Good quality rookie. Probably could be a star one day.
He's been good the last month on my team.
Not this year. George Pickens, also great candidate, rookie.
Yeah.
Not this year. Mark Ingram, number 4. Mostert, Albert OK, Rodrigo Blankenship, the kicker for the Colts, he was so bad he got kicked off of a shitty team. He wears sports specs. I drafted a kicker that wears sports specs in the top 10. Think about this. Oh, then I drafted Jameis Winston, who hasn't started. They have literally let everybody else on the team throw except for him. Taysom Hill. They brought Sean Payton back for a game to quarterback. Anybody but Jameis Winston. Fine. Oh, and Russell Wilson, who was supposed to be awesome. So I drafted 2 shitty quarterbacks. Rodrigo Blankenship. I drafted also Robbie Gould. I drafted 2 kickers. 2 shitty quarterbacks. A gimpy tight end that can't catch, a bunch of rookies that keep getting concussions, and Raheem Mostert, the star of my draft at 0.2 salary, so who will maybe be a keeper for me. So I'm just owning, before anybody else out here says it, yes, dumbass decisions equal bad results. So I own that. I'll come back next year. I got like probably the 4th or 5th pick. I got some good keepers. I got some people here that could show up. We'll see. I'll be back. Don't worry. But this year, lost season.
Yeah, I think you said it all. I pretty much agree with you. There's a lot of things there that you can't control, obviously, like what happens to everyone. The rookies you did draft, those are talented guys. But their quarterback position, especially Pickens, I mean, they haven't had a reliable quarterback at all this year. So you didn't know what's going to happen with that. But the one that I don't know if you watched the Saints game, maybe you'd already
I did
at that point. I don't understand what they're doing with Kamara. Like, as far as I went back and looked, I'm like, is he hurt? Is there a problem? Like, he would come in for one play, run for 3 yards and come out. Like, what are they doing?
And they ran him up the middle against Tampa's defense, which is good defense, up the middle. He's not up the middle dude. He's like, get outside, throw a screen.
Right.
Him splitting with Taysom Hill, him splitting with Ingram. He's got to get that rhythm going. And they just have it. Garbage.
As I'm circling right here, 2 receptions. He should have Eckler numbers receiving wise, right? You get him on the outside and let him juke around everyone. I didn't understand that at all. So that was
Take the
obviously
Saints
a big one.
and
But
you could take the Saints and the Colts, take their best players and combine them into one team, and they would probably make the playoffs this year.
yeah,
That's how bad those two teams are.
yeah, that was
All
bad.
right. Enough said about that. What's next?
Next, this was a big game here for playoff implications. Bullies and the Kings. I'm sure we didn't pick this properly. Or maybe we did. I honestly don't remember. Bullies end up winning almost 100-73.
Let me just let me correct you. No one's picked the Bullies to win in the last 3 seasons. I'm going to almost guarantee you we didn't pick him to win.
Yeah, except for Terry. Terry always picks himself to win.
He does, and he scored 100 points. If you score 100 points, you'll win half the games in the season, and that's what he did.
Yeah. Yeah, just and again, looking at it, this is what he did, I believe, last week. Nobody blew up. They're all consistent. I'm not even counting the kicker here. Everybody had a good week. Nobody had a great week. Everybody had a good week. Nobody did really bad, and that's all that you need. He got a bunch of good players, had good games, right?
Go up a little bit.
And then you go over here, and Mike had to deal with a bye week for Murray, and Goff stepped up and probably had one of his best games of the year. But then you go Derrick Henry, 4.8. That's got to be, if not the worst, one of the worst games of his year. Kenneth Walker gets hurt. Ramondre did okay. Keenan Allen, probably his best game since coming back. Amari Cooper does almost nothing. Hurst does almost nothing. This is one of his worst games. So
yeah, actually, now I'm looking at this. I think I did pick him to win. I did pick Terry to win because
we might have. I just don't remember.
But I remember looking at Philly's defense is great. Buffalo's defense is good. The Rams defense is good. I didn't think the Walker was going to get hurt, but I knew that he was going to be in trouble scoring a lot of points against them. And it still was close, but yeah.
Yeah, well, these are the two, right? I mean, normally Henry and Walker combined should have gotten him 30, right?
Think about this. He got Goff off of waivers, Henry from a trade, Walker from waivers. And Keenan Allen from waivers. I believe I traded him in the Jefferson deal, and I think he dropped him because he was still injured with that stupid hamstring, and he picked him up for free on the waivers. And he's obviously a talented wide receiver 1 when he's playing. So that's that whole patience thing. Sometimes you need points right away. So you can't keep the salary, but good players play well eventually. And he still got Marquise Brown. He got for free. Like, he's cobbled together a decent team. I don't remember what he gave away as far as picks go, but he's going to be in a good shape next year. For sure.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. So yeah, that's huge playoff implications there. I'm not going to pretend like I went through all these numbers and figured out which 6 and 7 team needs to beat which other 6 and 7 team and all that kind of stuff. I just don't know.
So it doesn't matter. You got to play next week anyway. So
at
that point, it'll be really clear. Everyone needs to win.
So here's the crazy, this has got to be the closest game we've ever had, since obviously we didn't used to do, decimals.
Yeah.
This is insane. 103.52 to 103.12. All Tim needed coming down to it was another extra point from his kicker. He did not get that. So he loses to the untouchables and really puts himself into the position to possibly be left on the outside of the playoffs come next week. Untouchables didn't even need to win this game. This is just, playoff seeding as far as what bye he's going to get. And he didn't really, again, over 100 points. This is the same as Terry did. Nobody really blew up. Diggs with 18, but everybody else was just good. The 12 points from the defense obviously made a difference in this game. And then on the other side, this is the big one right here. Did Wilson get hurt again, or did he just not have anybody else to play? Is that what happened? I honestly don't.
I didn't watch that game. He play for Miami or what was he play for?
He's yeah, Miami.
I think he got hurt. I think Monster. They didn't run a lot, which was weird. But yeah, I have a little satanic altar in my bedroom, and I killed a kitten and spread. And I prayed for this to be a tie, for neither of them to get a win. And I almost got my wish. It was very as close to a tie as you can get. I just wanted them both to lose equally, and unfortunately, it didn't happen. So
Yeah, you used the wrong kind of blood or something.
yeah,
Right?
next time maybe it was a kid. I should do. I don't know. Whatever. I hope this isn't going on YouTube. It's not true. I don't have a satanic thing. It's more like the voodoo doll. All right. What else we got?
So yeah, this is huge implications for Hazards, and we'll look at the upcoming here soon. This is the last game that didn't matter. No offense. Great game for the Connecticut Commandos. Actually, it does matter because he has a shot at 6-7. He's got a shot. Obviously, this is a great game for his team. And here's the blow up part right here. Devontae Adams just owned the Chargers. I watched.
Oh yeah.
Excuse me, a good portion of that game, and I don't know how you don't double team him the whole time, but they decided not to, and he was just running wide open the whole time. McLaurin, that's one of his best games this year too. So those two combined,
I'm pissed off. I had Samaj Perian, whatever how you say it. I had him last year, like for half the season, waiting for Mixon to get hurt because he's made out of toothpaste and tissue paper, and he never got hurt. He got hurt once, but then they had like Chris Evans and some other guys that were playing with Perian. Then this year, he picks him up and he has the same stats, if not better stats than Mixon. Like, I'm so frustrated with that. Anyways, enjoy.
Yeah. No, his Commandos, could be the sneak in at the end team right here. So we'll see. And then you got Ted and the Pit Bulls playing for draft position. So
look at the Pit Bulls, though. Let's look at the Pit Bulls for next year. Herbert, probably Williams and Evans as a keeper. I don't know about Zeke or Singletary, really. Go down who's on his bench.
I mean, Pickens is really good. It just depends on if his quarterback's going to be decent or not, right?
So, yeah, probably keep Damian Harris. I don't know. Maybe Devontae Smith. So he's pretty loaded at wide receiver. He's going to need some running help, and he's got a good quarterback. So
I mean, even Palmer's been really good for the Chargers. Yeah. So
only because Mike Williams is out, but yeah,
that might be trade one of your good wide receivers to try to get something else.
Yeah, even if it's not an RB1, if it's a flex or RB2, or like somebody that's on that second tier, might be worthwhile to strengthen your team.
Yep.
Hint. I have a bunch of running backs. Okay, keep going.
That was it. That's it. Now we're in the matchups for next week. Last week.
Okay.
So at this point, like I said, my division's taken care of. So this game doesn't matter as far as anything except for playoff position.
It matters for whoever gets the most overall points.
It does, and we can look at that in a second. And actually, because of my output this week, as you see here, this past week versus the Untouchables, it actually got some ground, gained almost 30 points on the Untouchables. And somebody else snuck a back in. Who was it? Dave, I think. Yeah, Bad Company is right in that mix as well. So it's pretty much War Pigs, Bad Company, Untouchables for the points right now. So any of those teams could win the points.
Which is hilarious. It's like whoever has the least amount of hair, the most amount of points.
That's how it works. If you want to be successful, just shave it off.
Shave my head tomorrow. All right, what's next? Untouchables, Commandos. That game matters to Commandos.
That's a big game for Commandos. And again, Untouchables, it matters for playoff positioning. This is a must win for Biohazards versus the Pit Bulls, which again, you would think he would win, but who knows?
Nope, I'm betting on the pit bulls from now on. Everything that I bet against them, they lose, they win. So I'm betting on them.
And as we said, what we said last week was that the Motor City Kings needed to win last week because he's got to play the lead dogs this week. Well, he didn't. So now he has to beat the lead dogs this week.
Mhm.
And that matchup
Depends on if Jackson plays, and I don't think he's going to. So you got Huntley playing at quarterback. So the lead dog isn't the lead dogs. Still got Jacobs and still good players, but that's going to be a closer one than it would have been earlier in the season.
Yeah. So right now, I know Rod did pick up Huntley. It doesn't sound like Jackson's going to play, but they're not being very clear about it. So he'll have Jacobs, Fournette. He's got Donovan Peoples-Jones, St. Brown, Isaiah McKenzie, Kelsey. And that's pretty much it because he doesn't really have a bench. He's got Cordarrelle Patterson on bye and along with David Montgomery. So this is also a test for him because he's got like a 5-player bench. So if anybody's hurt, and this is also, going forward here with your salary cap after this week, playoff teams have that off week to make pickups, and that's it. So I don't know. That's going to be an interesting one. This is a big game for Mike especially, but it looks like, well, they said Walker had a foot strain, I think, or an ankle strain. I don't know. I think that's just a weaker version of a sprain. He should have his full lineup available if he plays. You would think he's got an advantage over Rod for that. Bullies and Cartel. This is Bullies is what, 6 and 7 team. So this is a win that Terry needs in order to stay possibly into the playoff hunt. But his top 3 receivers that he played last week are all on bye. So he has Curtis Samuel, Chris Olave, and Drake London all on bye next week. So barring free agent pickups, oh, wow. He has DeAndre Hopkins on his bench, and that's it. So he's going to have to pick up another wide receiver. He's got like 4 running backs on his bench and 1 wide receiver. So he's going to have to pick up somebody.
Well, I'm missing Jonathan Taylor and Kamara, so that's 9 points. I'm going to lose. So
yeah, I don't know. That's going to be a mess of a game. That might be a Terry special right there where he wins, 55-50.
Great. I want to keep my 4th position. I don't want to get the 5th pick.
Yeah. And then Bad Company and Barbarians, which you would think would go to Bad Company there. And again, that's just, I feel like with 8 wins, well, no, he wouldn't be locked in because there's a couple teams with 7 or one team with 7. So he's locked into the playoff spot. I mean, just not which position he's got. And Dave has AJ Dillon on bye and his kicker on bye, but you would think Mixon would probably come back this week. And he does have Rashad White, who's looked good too. So yeah, that is pretty much it. And like you said, I assume you don't want to try to figure this all out. I certainly don't.
I don't think it matters. Everybody needs to win, except for me.
Yeah.
Win your game.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm looking at the draft again because I'm obsessed with where the mistakes were made. I'm gonna just give you a couple of players. I want you to tell me what round they were picked in. You don't tell me where they were exactly, but I want to tell you what round they were picked in. Hold on. You ready? Let's do this one. Let's do Mark Ingram.
Well, you just told me that one, right? Wasn't that like Didn't you say like third round or something?
Fourth.
Fourth? Okay. Third or fourth, something like that.
Tony Pollard.
That's got to be higher. That's got to be at least second, right?
Very good. Second.
Okay.
Brandon Ayuk.
That's my guy. I'm gonna say, but I feel like that was later. I'm gonna say fifth.
10th.
Oh, wow. Okay.
10th round after my kicker with the sport specs.
Yeah.
After I drafted him, you got Brandon Ayuk for what
Yeah.
it's.
And listen, I don't, I'm not going to claim to be an expert or any of that kind of stuff. I just don't understand ever picking a kicker, ever picking a kicker before the end of the draft because A, they can get hurt. B, why would you ever waste the money or the draft pick?
I had such a high salary that I had to go with rookies and inexpensive people that were hurt that could play to fit everything in. So I was going after 30-cent kickers that I thought would be good. And also looking at the bye weeks that if I set it all up perfectly, I wouldn't have any issue with buys. Of course,
Sure.
None of that worked out. So I'm not saying that's how you should do it. I'm just saying that was the thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about AJ Green?
Oh. Seventh?
5th.
Wow, that's way too high.
Darius Toney. Play along at home.
Fourth?
5th.
Okay, close.
Albert Okay.
Who?
Albert Okanobungam.
What position is that?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Tight end for the Denver Broncos. It's supposed to be amazing tight end that wasn't.
I don't know.
5th
No.
round. Also 5th round.
Oh, jeez.
What about Kenny Pickett?
I think I took him too, didn't I? Didn't I take
Yeah,
him right
fifth.
here at the end?
5th round. Well,
Fifth round. Wow.
all these guys got drafted at the same time as Dak Prescott, who was also the 5th round.
Wow.
That's just interesting, right? So we look at draft picks and we're like, oh, you got to have this lower pick. It doesn't really matter because you're part of that's you don't know who's going to be good, who you thinks is going to be good. Isn't Garrett Wilson, 6th round?
Yeah. Jamal Williams, 15th round.
Yeah. Yeah. He's one of the last picks to come out. He was the last pick.
Last pick, yeah.
Mr. Irrelevant, yeah.
Mr. Irrelevant, the MFFL, yeah.
All right, enough of that. Listen, as always, it's been kicking the pants. I appreciate everything, you guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Next year we're gonna have everybody pay a little bit of money before the season to pay for our time. I'm cheap. I'm not free. So just start thinking about how much money you want to donate to the Fantasy Bros. We're going to get t-shirts, probably half shirts, getting some sparkly stuff on them. We're going to really up our production level, but I need some money from you guys to do it. So except for you, Terry, I know your cheap ass isn't going to give us any money. All right, guys, have a good rest of your day. Everybody win this weekend and we'll see you next week.
Peace out.
See you.